Okay, so actually when we talk about model performance that you've seen previously, we talk about training data set, validation data set, testing data set. In this lecture, we will talk about how is the impact of data splitting to the way that we can interpret that performance of your model. Okay, and that will lead to why you may be needing something called cross-validation. But as I mentioned before, actually cross-validation there are many types of them, but generally we talk about 3 types. The first type is called holdout, which means that you just randomly splitting your data. Actually, this one, I'm not sure if we should count it as the cross-validation, because simply it doesn't do anything with the cross-validation. It's just splitting your data sample and you just run it. And this one is like the one where people would normally do if they have very, very big data set. Let's say if they have the label data set that is about 10,000 up, they will just do the holdout normally. But if you have anything lower than that, it's recommended to do something like k-fold cross-validation. For the leave one out, I personally find that, and we will talk about this, this one is very much computationally high in terms of how many times you have to run it, but we will go over all of that. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, holdout is pretty much just data splitting. That means once you have a set of your data with your labels that are complete, everything's fine, you clean your data already. And then in holdout, what you do is that if you know that you have to tune the hyperparameters or maybe do the model selection, then you know you need validation set, then you need testing set, then you need training set. The testing set is used to generally telling you whether or not this is like the best performance yet, but you don't want to use it in your training or tuning, because if you use it, sometimes it will interfere your decision making. Validation set will be the one where you make decision of whether or not that maybe feature sets or your hyperparameters are well chosen. Your training set is the one where you actually use it in your optimization, where you try to train for your model parameters. And it's usually the biggest set